The movie begins in 1982 at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. A young girl named Charlotte is at a birthday party, sitting alone. She is waiting for her favorite animatronics, the Marionette, to appear. Two staff members notice her. One waiter asks why she is sitting there, waiting for the trapdoors to open, while a waitress tells him to leave her alone, saying Charlotte does this every time she visits. Soon, Charlotte's friend Vanessa comes to her. Vanessa tells her that the Marionette will not appear for a while and invites her to come back to the table to spend time with the others. Charlotte says the other kids do not want her there and that no one cares about her. Vanessa comforts her, saying she has just had bad luck and that things will get better. Charlotte replies that the Marionette is the only one she can rely on and the only one that is always there for her. Vanessa reminds her that the robot is not a spirit parent and will still be there even if she goes to eat cake first. After some hesitation, Charlotte finally agrees to leave her seat and join the party. While everyone is busy enjoying the party, Charlotte looks around and becomes terrified when she sees a man in a yellow rabbit costume dragging a child into a back room. She quickly runs to the adults and begs them to help the boy, but no one believes her and they ignore her warnings. With no help coming, Charlotte decides to act on her own. Vanessa tries to stop her, but Charlotte does not listen. She follows the man into a dark alley where she sees a rabbit costumed man doing chores while the child lies unconscious nearby. Charlotte sneaks inside, picks up the boy, and tries to escape. Rabbit costumed man notices her, grabs a knife, and chases her, trying to attack her. Charlotte reaches the main hall while carrying the boy and screams loudly to get everyone's attention. Her scream wakes the boy and he runs toward his mother. Charlotte then collapses on the stage, showing deep wounds on her back. At that moment, a trapdoor opens beneath her and she falls inside. Seconds later, the Marionette rises up, carrying Charlotte's lifeless body, leaving everyone in shock. After the incident, an official investigation is carried out. The authorities blame Charlotte for her own death, saying she entered an area that was strictly off limits. As a result, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza is shut down. However, not long after, a new branch of the restaurant opens in a different location. The scene shifts to 20 years later. An adult Vanessa wakes up from a nightmare and sees her phone ringing. It is her friend Mike, calling to ask if they are still meeting for dinner. Vanessa agrees. After the call ends, Mike's younger sister Abby teases him, calling the dinner a date. Mike quickly explains that he and Vanessa are only friends. As Abby gets ready to leave, she sees Mike's friend Jeremiah arrives at the house. Abby happily greets Jeremiah for a moment before heading off to school. Jeremiah helps Mike paint the house. While they work, Jeremiah asks if Mike is still going on a date with Vanessa later that day. Mike insists it is not a date, saying it is just two adults having dinner together. Jeremiah jokingly says he wishes them happiness but warns Mike that Vanessa is crazy. Mike quickly defends her, saying she is not crazy. Meanwhile, Abby is on the school bus, excitedly telling her classmates about what happened at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza in the first movie. She says the animatronics attacked her, but Mike and Vanessa saved her. She also mentions that the yellow rabbit was crushed and destroyed, though rumors say its body is still inside the abandoned pizzeria. Most of the students do not believe her story and think she is lying. Some even call her crazy. One classmate asks if she ever went back to the pizzeria. Abby replies that she would like to, but her friends, the animatronics, are broken. She adds that Mike keeps saying he will fix them someday, but he has been saying that for a long time. Abby then asks the boy if he truly believes her. He replies that he believes in UFOs and ghosts, so haunted animatronics do not seem impossible to him. In robotics class, the teacher Berg talks to the students about the upcoming science fair. He reminds them that their robotics presentation will take place on Saturday. He warns them not to get distracted by FazFest, a fan-created local festival happening the same day. Berg criticizes FazFest, calling it foolish and saying it disrespects real robotics. He insists that all students must attend the science fair whether they are presenting or not, or they will receive a failing grade. Later, Berg notices Abby working on her project. He discourages her, telling her that robotics is not for everyone and that she should give up. After he leaves, Abby's classmate comforts her, saying Berg is harsh with everyone. The classmate also suggests that Abby could try fixing her animatronic friends herself, believing she is capable of doing it. Later, Abby returns home while Mike is getting ready for his dinner with Vanessa. Mike tells Abby that he is leaving some money on the table so she can order a pizza. Mike checks if she needs anything else before he leaves and asks if she plans to watch TV. Then Abby says she might go see her friend's animatronics at a pizzeria. Mike reminds her she cannot go back to the pizzeria because the animatronics are broken. He promises that he will fix them someday, but until then, he gently suggests Abby try to make friends with real kids instead. Later, Mike meets Vanessa for their dinner. During the conversation, Mike shares his worries about his sister Abby because she deeply misses her animatronic friends. Vanessa tells Mike that she understands he is trying to protect Abby, but lying to her by saying the animatronics are broken and will be fixed is giving her false hope. She advises him to be honest with Abby instead. Later, Vanessa also opens up about her own struggles. She explains that it is hard for her to move on from the past because she still has nightmares about what happened. It is revealed that the yellow rabbit named William was actually Vanessa's father. He was responsible for killing many children. Although William was crushed to death in the first movie, Vanessa remains deeply haunted by her father's crimes and the trauma he caused. When Mike returns home, he cannot find Abby anywhere. Instead, he finds a note saying she has gone to fix her animatronic friends. Panicking, Mike rushes to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza to look for her. This is not the original pizzeria, but the newer branch that opened later, where Mike worked years ago. Mike finds Abby sitting on the floor, thinking about her animatronic friends. In the first movie, these animatronics were possessed by the spirits of children killed by William, and they had become close friends with Abby. Abby asks Mike where her friends have gone, and he gently tells her that they might already be in heaven. Trying to cheer her up, Mike looks through several toys to find her a company. Abby's attention is drawn to a toy called the Faztalker, a device that can record and play back voices. As they leave the building, Mike notices a strange poster outside. It claims that Freddy is a murderer and even lists a phone number. In the following scene, a group of content creators named Lisa, Rob, and Alex head to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza to film an episode of their horror show. Lisa explains that a night guard Michael working there invited them, so they do not have to break in. The group arrives at the original Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, the same place where Charlotte was murdered years ago. They start recording the location, but are suddenly frightened by a creepy guard named Michael. Michael allows them inside and gives them a tour of the building. During the tour, he explains that a puppet called the Marionette controls the other animatronics by using a wireless signal. Then Michael opens the stage curtain and shows the animatronics Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica, which are all covered under clear sheets. Lisa asks about Foxy, and Michael explains that Foxy was damaged during a failed attraction where it was taken apart and rebuilt, and it never worked properly again. Soon after, Lisa starts hearing strange music. Michael tells her that the building can mess with people's minds if they let it, and suggests they keep moving. Instead, Lisa chooses to stay behind and explore on her own, telling the others to go ahead. She follows the sound of the music, while at the same time, Rob is shown walking near a small river inside the building. Rob sees the lights flashing and his EMF device reacting. Suddenly, the lights explode and he falls into the water below. At the same time, Lisa enters another room. She notices a big gift box and a music box that is playing on its own. When she turns the music off, the large box suddenly opens. The Marionette, now alive again, appears and attacks her. Alex hears Lisa screaming and becomes alarmed. He then sees Michael smiling in a disturbing way. Before Alex can escape, Foxy attacks and kills him. Elsewhere, Rob is still struggling in the water, trying to switch on his flashlight. He sees a small doll drop into the water, which confuses him. Moments later, many animatronics attack and kill him. Later, Michael goes downstairs and is shocked to see that Lisa is being possessed by the Marionette. The possessed Lisa tries to attack him, but Michael manages to escape the building just in time. As he runs out, he says, "Welcome back, Charlotte." The next morning, Vanessa is at a spinning class when memories of her father suddenly come back to her. Feeling scared, she runs to the changing room where she is startled by a man and briefly holds him at gunpoint before rushing out. That night, while Abby is asleep, she hears a voice coming from the Faztalker. She recognizes the voice as Chica, her animatronic friend, asking for help. Abby asks where they are, and Chica says they will guide her and tells Abby to come find them. Abby secretly leaves her house and makes her way to the original Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. The place seems empty at first until Chica appears. Abby is happy to see her again after so long. She notices that Chica looks different and asks what kind of help she needs. Chica says she will explain later and that what matters most is that they are together again. The next morning, Vanessa arrives at Mike's house. Abby happily shows Vanessa her finished science fair project. Vanessa is impressed and asks if Abby made it by herself. Abby says Chica and Freddy helped her. Abby explains that she saw Freddy and Chica at their old place, which even has a play area and a river. When Vanessa hears about the river, she becomes worried. Mike comes in with breakfast, and Vanessa tells him they need to talk. She tells Mike that Abby met Freddy and Chica. Mike tries to explain that Abby is using her Faztalker toy, but Vanessa insists Abby actually went somewhere. Then Mike shows her the poster he found at the pizzeria. Vanessa is confused, and Mike says he called the number on it and learned that Charlotte's father made the flyer and told him about his daughter and her friend Vanessa. He asks why Vanessa never told him there were more victims. Vanessa says her father was a monster. Mike admits he is trying to fix everything: his family, Abby, and even Vanessa. Vanessa stops him and says she does not need fixing. She tells Mike to focus on protecting Abby and storms out. Later, Vanessa visits the original Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. She calls out to Charlotte. Charlotte speaks to her through a speaker and asks if Vanessa is there to put her back to sleep. Vanessa says she knows what Charlotte wants. She believes Charlotte wants to escape so she can hurt others the same way she was hurt. Vanessa tells her she cannot allow that to happen. Charlotte replies that she is no longer trapped inside the box but is still being held in the building somehow. Vanessa explains that the place is protected by a perimeter lock which prevents any animatronic, including Charlotte, from leaving. Charlotte says Vanessa could disable the lock, but Vanessa refuses. Charlotte then says she has another friend who can help her now. She tells Vanessa she does not hate her, but warns her to stay out of her way. Charlotte then tries to attack Vanessa. The scene cuts to the science fair, where Abby proudly shows her project to Professor Berg. Instead of appreciating it, the harsh teacher reacts angrily. He intentionally breaks her robot and acts as if it was an accident. This cruel moment deeply hurts Abby and leaves her heartbroken. Unable to handle it, she runs away and heads back to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza once again. Abby hugs Chica and starts crying. She tells Chica that Professor Berg destroyed her science fair project. Chica comforts her and offers to be her science project instead. Abby is surprised and happy and agrees. Chica then says Abby must first help her by entering a secret code that will allow Chica to leave the building. At the same time, Vanessa is tied up and watching everything through CCTV. Charlotte threatens her, saying that if Vanessa does not give the command to release the perimeter lock, she will kill Abby. Vanessa tries to reason with Charlotte, saying Abby is innocent and that Charlotte would never hurt her. Charlotte asks if Vanessa is willing to take that risk. Fearing for Abby, Vanessa gives the code. While she speaks, Charlotte remotely controls Chica and tells the numbers to Abby. Abby enters the code and the perimeter lock is finally disabled. All the animatronics become excited because they are now free to leave. Abby decides to take Chica with her to the science fair. Since she only has a bicycle, they book a cab and force the driver to take them to the school. In the next scene, Mike visits Henry Emily, Charlotte's father. Henry says he is surprised to get Mike's call because most calls he receives are just pranks. Mike asks about Charlotte's death at Freddys. Henry explains that everyone called it an accident at first, but after 5 children went missing years later, he realized Charlotte was murdered by William. Mike looks through old newspapers and notices a picture of a small river inside the original pizzeria, which matches a drawing Abby made earlier that day. Confused, Mike asks about it. Henry explains that it was a river ride, one of Charlotte's favorite attractions, and that it only existed at the very first Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, not in later locations. Realizing the truth, Mike asks to use Henry's phone and calls Abby's school. He learns that Abby left after an incident. Panicked, Mike believes his sister is now at the original pizzeria. Before Mike leaves, Henry gives him a music box he made for Charlotte when she was a baby, explaining that the music used to help her sleep. He asks Mike to leave it for her if he goes back there. Mike agrees and rushes out. Mike goes to the original Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Inside, he finds the broken animatronics, Bonnie, Foxy, Freddy, and Chica, which no longer work. At the same time, Abby brings Chica to her school science fair. The students are amazed, but Teacher Berg gets angry. He thinks Abby is cheating by putting someone in a suit and calls it her project. He insults Abby, tells her to leave the science fair, and walks away angrily. Abby apologizes to Chica, but Chica comforts her and says there is nothing to be sorry about. Chica then says she wants to talk to Berg to see what is going on inside his head. Later, Professor Berg is alone in the school hallway. He hears a strange noise from a room and slowly goes to check it out. Suddenly, Chica attacks him. Berg begs for his life, but Chica does not care. Using her great strength, she lifts him into the air and kills him by crushing his head. Meanwhile, Mike wanders through the pizzeria and discovers Vanessa tied up. He frees her and asks about Abby. Vanessa says Abby left with the animatronics. Mike realizes the broken animatronics he saw earlier were only broken test models. Vanessa tells that Charlotte is controlling everything and fears Abby is in danger, so she convinces Mike to go with her to the security room. There, Vanessa explains the truth. Only one spirit is haunting the place, Charlotte, inside the Marionette. After her death, Charlotte was trapped in anger, and a music box once kept her sleep, but since Lisa turned the music box off, it woke Charlotte up. Mike reveals that Charlotte's father gave him a music box, which could help. They rush to the security office to track down the animatronics, where Vanessa explains that Abby believes the animatronics are her friends, not realizing they're being controlled. Charlotte doesn't blame her killer William anymore. She blames parents who didn't help, and now go after parents and Abby as her next target. Since the perimeter locks were disabled, the animatronics escaped the building, but their trackers might still help locate Abby. Mike decides on a plan. Vanessa will go into town to distract Charlotte and buy time, while Mike stays behind to cut the Marionette's signal from the security office. Before leaving, Vanessa gives Mike walkie-talkies so they can stay in touch, and then she heads out to face Charlotte. At the school, Abby is overjoyed after winning the science fair, with Chica standing proudly beside her. At the same time, Mike finds out where Freddy is, but Chica receives a warning signal and turns on the unused animatronics inside the pizzeria. As these test robots power up, Mike calls Vanessa and tells her Freddy's location, and she immediately drives toward it. On the way, Foxy suddenly attacks Vanessa's car, causing her to lose control and crash near the road. When the animatronic tries to reach her, Vanessa manages to escape by speeding away. Elsewhere, Freddy confronts an elderly couple, accusing them of abandoning Charlotte many years ago. They are frightened and don't understand what is happening. Just before Freddy can harm them, Vanessa arrives and stops her car suddenly, knocking Foxy through a window and bringing both animatronics down for a short time. Before Freddy can recover, Vanessa quickly helps the couple into her car and they drive away to safety. At the same time, Bonnie enters a house and starts bonding with a young girl. Bonnie says she will speak to the girl's mother and goes into the kitchen where the woman is working. Back at the pizzeria, Balloon Boy suddenly appears, but Mike quickly destroys him. Then several prototype animatronics approach Mike, forcing him to rush to the computer and try to shut them down. In the house, Bonnie is about to attack the mother when the little girl runs in and begs Bonnie to stop. Bonnie shows no mercy and prepares to strike. At that exact moment, Mike successfully turns off the control signal, disabling all the animatronics. Mike tells Vanessa that the animatronics are shut down and everyone should be safe. However, Mike notices one signal still moving on the tracker. It is heading to his house. Vanessa realizes it is the Marionette, and Mike immediately rushes home. After that, Chica carries a tired Abby to her bed and begins to power down. As Chica shuts off, she starts to glitch, which wakes Abby. Suddenly, Chica's chest opens, revealing the Marionette inside. Abby is terrified, and the Marionette attacks Abby. At the same time, the animatronics that were shut down begin to turn back on. Vanessa warns Mike that the signal is active again and they are losing control. Realizing they need help, Mike goes to Freddys, the place where he once worked, and begs the spirits of the missing children to help Abby. When no answer comes, Mike leaves in despair. Meanwhile, Vanessa's car breaks down. Mike's friend Jeremiah gives her a ride and drops her at Mike's house. Jeremiah tries to ask Vanessa what is going on. Vanessa ignores him and rushes inside in a panic. Watching her leave so suddenly, Jeremiah is left confused and thinks Vanessa is acting crazy. Inside the house, Vanessa comes face to face with the possessed Abby. She tries to hide, but Charlotte finds her and attacks. Vanessa pleads with Charlotte to let Abby go, but she refuses. Just in time, Mike arrives and uses the music box. The music calms Charlotte, who releases Abby and then runs away. Soon, all the reactivated animatronics surround them. Then Michael, a security guard, appears and calls Vanessa his sister, shocking Mike. Michael reveals he is continuing his father's dark legacy and wants Vanessa to join him. He says Fazfest is the perfect chance to hide his plan, and that by morning, many people in the town will be dead. Vanessa refuses, so Michael orders the animatronics to attack them. Suddenly, the spirits of the children appear in their original animatronic bodies and start destroying the toy animatronics. Michael panics and tries to escape, but Jeremiah knocks him outside the house. After the fight, the original animatronics begin to shut down because they cannot survive outside the pizzeria. Abby is sad to lose her friends, but feels comfort knowing they can finally go to heaven. One spirit warns Mike that William's body has been kept locked away, but once they leave, no one will be able to hold him back, and he may return even stronger. Then Jeremiah arrives and urges them to leave. Mike feels betrayed by Vanessa and tells her to stay away, saying he can no longer trust her. As Vanessa walks away heartbroken, she is suddenly possessed by Charlotte, showing that the nightmare is not over yet. And that wraps up Five Nights at Freddy's 2. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the bell for more chilling movie stories. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.